Alright, let's get started. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel where you would normally learn about email marketing and how to grow your business with emails, but today I want to share something a little different. It's a little bit more personal. It's about me, my life as an email marketer and an email marketing agency owner. I want to share the story with you about how I came to this place, how I arrived here through the many decisions I made from college all the way until now. And I say college as the beginning because to say the beginning would actually be the beginning of my life and my upbringing, which did have some influence on where I am today. But I want to share beginning from college. That's where I'll plant the flag in the ground. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jasper. I am currently an email marketing agency owner, if I haven't mentioned that already. I run an agency called Grab Digital at grabdigital.co. It's co-founded with my partner Nelson. He currently lives in Toronto, so he's not going to be here for the video, nor will he be for future videos for the foreseeable future. So today I want to share the few key events that led me to where I am today, and I'll just start right with college. So I went into the Ohio State University in 2014 as a chemistry major. Believe it or not, I was interested in chemistry from AP Chem in high school. I had always wanted to do something in the medical field, and I found that because I had a love for chemistry, I wanted to apply those science skills and further my knowledge in the medical field and eventually land myself as a job as a medical professional. I was hoping that it would land me a job in the medical field as a medical professional. My first choice was surgery, and I shadowed doctors. I worked in the emergency room as a medical scribe, and it was really exciting. I have so many crazy stories from there, as anybody in the emergency room would. I mean, it's an emergency room. Only emergencies occur there, or at least what people think are emergencies. But you'd walk in and there'd be a car accident and people cutting open their arms with chainsaws. It's crazy, and there was a constant stream of novelty. Not that people getting hurt was good. I certainly don't like that. But the stream of new and interesting things that were constantly happening around me always kept me on my toes, and I love the intensity of it. However, I learned that as I continued moving forward in this medical field, that the studying and regimen required to continue further down the medical field would be extremely rigid. The structure placed upon the medical students to study for the MCAT and do residency and being overworked and underpaid and all these horrible things that would constitute as the hardest parts of the medical field. I mean, any difficult field has their downsides, but seeing that I don't flourish or thrive at all in an environment where there's so much structure placed upon me, I felt that going through that process would be detrimental to both my mental health, and it would drain me of my life's energy. Like I am not super spontaneous, but I definitely do like a little bit of freedom, if not a lot, and I really don't like working under somebody and following by their rules. Little did I know that business would be of interest to me, but that's part of my temperament, which caused me to cut off my chemistry major at the 2-year mark in college. And it was an enormous jump, I gotta say, because I had family and I had friends. I had people who were closest to me all rooting me on for becoming a medical professional. You know, they're proud of that sort of thing. And especially coming from an Asian-centered household, as my mom, she's from Taiwan, and my dad, he's more so American, but his blood and his history, his family ancestry is all from the Middle East. And so they're both looking forward, and I felt that there was a lot of family pressure. My parents were immigrant and working, and I felt that there was a lot of pressure. My mom is an immigrant from Taiwan, and my dad, he grew up with fairly strict parents, and they both wanted to raise me well, and I had this enormous pressure to conform, at least what I felt like was in my head. So that jump away from chemistry was one of the biggest decisions I had ever made at the time. So I had to choose well. And I can't say that I did by deciding to become an English major, but I did it anyway. I pursued English for two reasons. One, I loved reading and interacting with other people's thoughts, and two, I enjoyed writing. And I felt that in choosing my education in writing, rhetoric, and literacy, I felt that there would be more opportunity there. Though I did not know what types of jobs would be available to me post-graduation. So with only 2 years left, I had to scramble my life together and figure out what type of job that I would be taking on after I had graduated. And I researched online, asked my professors, and they said that you can pick up a job as a tenure professor with lots of hard work and rigorous studying in the academic field, learning about literature, learning about poetry. Like, I love those things, but ultimately it wasn't something that was deeply fulfilling to me. Why? It's because I needed human interaction. I need some sort of conversation and socialization with other people. I'm somewhat of an extrovert, and I felt that writing in a poetry book was a great way of self-expression, but it didn't give me the conversations that I wanted. And I found this job called copywriting, and this was back in 2016. I saw people online saying you can make a living from copywriting, so my ears were perked up. I was interested, and I continued pursuing this path. And I found, as I delved deeper into this world of copywriting, that it's something that requires a lot of persuasion, a lot of rhetoric, and also writing technicalities, and I enjoyed that. And so in order to become a better copywriter, I took online ads, I studied from the best copywriters and wrote all their ads by hand as the expert copywriter, the gurus had suggested, and it did help me improve my copywriting ability. Now, I do have 3 books that I still occasionally reference, and I have them here with me today, and these were crucial in helping me become a better writer, expressing myself on paper, and articulate through the craft of writing. The first one is The Elements of Style, and this one breaks down the mechanical ability or the mechanics of the English language, and you can see that there's notes in here. One of the examples, I just opened a random page, like how to enclose a parenthetic expression between commas. Now, it might not sound interesting at all, but if you want to learn how to increase your technical ability in writing and be able to express yourself with cadence and style and be able to communicate that message more effectively, this is one of the best books that I have ever read. I highly recommend it. The second book I read is called Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins. Now, Hopkins is known for many books, not just this one, but this is a relatively short book that teaches you how to, and this book is more of a scientific approach, for lack of a better word, on how to approach your writing and expressions in the advertising field. And it is definitely helpful if you want to learn from other people's ads and their experiences and just his experience in general as an advertising marketer. Now, the last book that I have here today is called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. For those of you who are already interested in copywriting, this is a big guy in the advertising field. He is one of the best copywriters known, and given that the history of modern advertising in America is relatively short, this book contains a huge amount of knowledge, although it's a little bit difficult to get. As you can see, that I definitely enjoyed my time in this book. I still reference it all the time, and there's a lot of notes and comments that I put in, and I highly suggest it to anybody who is interested in marketing and persuasion rhetoric and being able to communicate better. I continued searching and discovered that there was a website called Upwork, and I started finding jobs on Upwork to become a copywriter, a professional copywriter. And I had a couple odd and end jobs working for some random companies that just wanted a small contractor for a small fee. I was charging really low rates just to get experience. But I landed my first official job as a copywriter at a small email marketing agency. Now, this was completely freelance. I had never met the owner, and we still work together occasionally. We've been working together for about 5 years, and he hired me on as simply an email copywriter. And I found myself writing emails for about $25 an hour. Not bad pay, but there wasn't too much work to be done. Maybe just a couple emails here and there every week. And as I became more experienced, they entrusted me with more work, these people at the agency. And I learned much more about the process of distributing, delegating tasks, and I watched how these emails that I wrote with the subject line, body copy, and the call to actions would be implemented into an actual fully crafted email design. It was beautifully done. So he had taken me as a writer and another designer and put them together to make this beautiful email, and he sends it out to thousands of people. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I like being able to have this two-way street where you send people this message and then they can also respond with their own thoughts back to the company. This whole system is a back and forth. It's not like a billboard advertising or random adverts that pop up on your screen. Like, email is one of the most personal forms of advertising or marketing, if you will. So I found my interest in that aspect of the communication with emails. So I wanted to pursue this, but I wasn't sure how. So the idea was brewing in my mind for a while. After I graduated college, I went back to my parents' house and lived there for a little bit of time, and then I decided to go to South Korea to teach English through EPIK, E-P-I-K, EPIK, as an elementary school teacher. I thought I would be going there to simply teach English on a very easy level, which it was, but I didn't realize the amount of headache and hassle it was to manage a classroom full of kids. So I quickly realized that being able to start a business on the side while working 12-hour shifts, the commute was 2 hours plus schooling and food and everything. Basically, it culminated into this 12-hour shift 5 days a week. I would be exhausted, way too tired to start a business or an agency on the side. So I ended up just teaching English there and continuing to write down the occasional thought about how I would start an agency of my own to help clients on my own terms. And eventually, I found my groove when I came back here to the US. I connected with my partner in Canada. We met in Korea. We both had the idea of starting a business together. And he and I wanted to put our heads together, which we did, and we started Grab Digital. That's our brainchild, and we started building the website and working to understand the business better, how to communicate with clients, how to sell them, how to connect with other people, how to write emails, how to design them, how to delegate tasks. There are so many little things that are involved in creating a business that we weren't prepared for earlier, but we had the mindset of growth and learning. We were excited to become a part of something bigger and create something that was deeply meaningful to both of us as people who wanted to create their impact on the world. And we didn't want to let our financial freedom and our lives be controlled by anybody else. And becoming an agency owner was one of the biggest decisions I have ever made in my life. For the past so many months, I have been grinding away and pushing my product and my service out there using all of the abilities and the skills that I had ever learned to become a successful agency owner, to help other people grow their business. And starting this YouTube channel was a little one of those things that I would like to continue sharing my knowledge on, but after several months of grinding, we found a client, and then we did strategic partnerships, and we have several clients on hand right now, and we love working with all of them, and we're still learning so much about the marketing world, but the whole gist of this business and agency growth has been a wild ride, and I love sharing it with other people, and I love thinking and talking about it because every day, like I mentioned earlier, I love the stream of novelty. When a client wants a new email with a Valentine's Day or some Black Friday sales and there's 5 campaigns lined up, there are so many nuances in the email that needs to be sent out. There's so many things to keep track of, so many moving parts, and that's a con to a lot of people, but for me it's a pro. There's a lot of new things that are out there that you can put your mind to, and you can manifest these emails and send them to thousands of people, and you're actually creating a difference for these companies, and it's exciting to see that. And not only that, I have the autonomy of being able to travel, and although it does take a lot of time in my day, I can still set aside weekends. And if you are thinking about starting an agency or a partnership, I highly recommend that you have a technical partner if you are the creative person. If you're the technical person, you find a creative person who's outspoken and somebody who can connect with others. I am that person. My partner, he's extremely diligent and understands the systems and the operations, and he's really good with back-end designing. And me, I'm more of the front-end outreach, outbound marketing part of the business. And it works out that way. Now, if you're both people in one and you're able to do sales and the technical part, that's awesome. More power to you. But that's how I found my rhythm. And we are still growing, but we are much more comfortable in the status that we have carved for ourselves. It was not easy. There were several months without pay. We work 80-hour weeks, and we still work 80-hour weeks, but this way, this time around, it's so much better. And now I have my family and friends rooting for us to continue succeeding in this field. It's a blessing that we are able to continue working online, do this entire business online. We don't need to do any in-person meetings. I mean, although it's not a blessing that coronavirus happened, and that's where we are now after quarantining for several months. And there's so much that worked out right simply because we committed our minds and our hearts to this mission. And right now in my life, I feel really grateful for having the skills and opportunities to learn how to grow this business. And whatever I have learned, I hope to share it with anybody else, because I learned from all those free resources online, and I learned from so many people who were generous with their information, and that led me to where I am today. So this is basically how I became an email marketer and email marketing agency owner. There's still more detail to this story that I probably skipped over a ton, but if you have any questions or you're wondering about any part of this story that was either confusing or you want to learn more about, I would love to hear them. I embrace all questions. I will be posting weekly videos like I have been for the past couple weeks. I just want to be able to find people who can resonate with my story, and I hope that this was interesting or at least engaging in the least bit to you. If you would like to continue learning how to grow your business with email marketing, this is my plug. I want to tell you, I continue to release weekly videos. I'm extremely responsive, and you can tell me what you want to learn about, and I'll share my knowledge with you. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you soon.